Trump has made markets or investors just treat absolutely everything with white noise now. So yeah, we've got our our bull just skipping through the streets as the four horsemen of the apocalypse come down, and because we finished unchanged overnight. So Nvidia bounced back, which is probably fair enough. I mean, Oracle, but then we've had it's a bit of a quandary here because you've got defence stocks lifting, you've got you've got the rest of the market lifting, so you can't really if this is going to be over quickly, then and you've got the oil companies lifting, so both things cannot be true because if this is prolonged and Trump's basically said, I will do whatever it takes as long as it takes, which are very dangerous words to be saying. But I just think that no one he says so much crap that no one cares anymore. To be honest, given that Israel has, struck, it looks like Lebanon, Iran, etc., and the amount of military build-up, the simple lack of just general interest from news agencies is just astounding. And it's just a sad state of affairs that basically no one cares anymore. We can kidnap a sovereign nation's leader, we can steal their oil, we can, bomb Iran twice and then ask for the Nobel Peace Prize. The world is, it's just a little bit, it's just a little bit sort of not making hell of a lot of sense. So if these guys are going to make more money, which I'm talking the oil companies here, and if the defence companies are going to make more money, then generally the rest of the market, not so much, because we're going to have inflation and we are just out of, oil prices going up, commodity prices going up. It's a major shipping channel. It's really a this move is just very counterintuitive, but it's sort of becoming the norm. Every time we have a Monday move to the downside in the Asian session where there is sort of panic, the US just comes in and buys it no matter what. It's it's almost just, it doesn't matter what the news is. It essentially goes, bang, I'm buying it. And then just the news story turns as time goes on. I'm not entirely sure why, the healthcare sector bore the brunt of it. Maybe the people just getting out of defensives. But look, I mean, realistically, we've still got oil up quite a bit. We've still got gold up a couple of percent. We're spending a lot. I mean, I think those defense stocks, which we hold here at MPC, that's a good play. Gold, I mean, silver came all the way back because people realised it was a risk asset. I don't know what the hell silver was doing up yesterday. Generally, gold to silver ratio does favour gold heavily in those moves. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, we really need to be looking at those key things of geopolitical stability and locking down your supply chain, basically. So you're going to need oil, you're going to need critical minerals, you're going to need copper, you're going to need to be largely, your refining independence, etc. Otherwise, these guys aren't going to make money. So, which is the hyperscalers. So this was just a weird move. Berkshire Hathaway had a shocker on earnings, which, it's Warren leaving with a parting gift. The only time that Berkshire Hathaway had a poor earnings in forever. But having said that, I think everyone was looking for an excuse for, Warren's left. You don't want to be in there anymore. We had some manufacturing PMIs showing prices higher again last night. And as I said, and we've had commodity prices go higher. So realistically, I mean, yesterday we could see it in the SPY, basically. The SPY finished unchanged, or the XJO or the ASX 200. That switch from growth to real assets is probably is really favoured the XJO. The Nikkei and China kind of doing their own things. The Euro stocks, well, that was the peak loss of the session before the US opened and started to recover. But we're a bit of a speckled mess in terms of the technicals here as it stands. Particularly on the daily and the weekly for the major indices, except for the Aussie, because we are that value index. We do have payrolls on Friday night. We've got a couple of earnings results coming up. I believe CrowdStrike's got its earnings tomorrow. And we've got some small, like weekly jobless and things like that throughout the course of the week. But I mean, Iran's obviously going to be the fallback story for everyone. I mean, look, the market only finished up 0.5, 0.05, 0.01 and 0.13. The Russell was broadly was better. It was up. I mean, that's that out of growth into value play that's sort of continuing on a little bit. We had the likes of Goldman Sachs come out and say that there's going to be, this is going to have be pain ahead for the equity market. We heard something similar out of JP Morgan, but Jamie Dimon's always bearish, so he's calling the end of the world. I think he hangs out with the four horsemen of the apocalypse and Ray Dalio, to be honest. So yeah, but as it stands, pretty quiet. Silver ended up down after being up about 6 or 7%. Copper ended up down. Platinum ended up down. That was the US move wholly, but I think that's the wrong move these days. I think these guys are, we're talking massive shortfalls and increase of industrial use and supply gaps. Platinum as well and silver, the industrial use is through the roof. It's not the same as what it used to be, but so those old plays might be good buying opportunities. I would have thought gold's up 2%, but mainly everything's up for the week. Crude up 7, up nearly 8 for the week. Coal's had a big day, up 8% as well. Again, everyone just trying to look. Uranium, I mean Bitcoin not so much. Trying to lock down supply chains. And iron ore still fairly quiet, and that's all despite the US dollar being up a 4%, which it falls back into that old safe haven argument, which I would argue is no longer valid because the US accounts. I mean, apart from their military, the country's an absolute. It's a bit of a crap show, to be honest. So. I wouldn't be buying back into that as a safe haven. You just may as well buy military stocks, which are up, 4 or 5% overall. So we did see the likes of RTX, Bay Systems, Lockheed, and those guys rally 4 or 5%. We've been on that for quite some time. While ever Trump's in, we're going to have geopolitical instability. And now that the market and the world has just officially just given up trying to be upset about it, he's just going to keep doing it. Flatly, he is just going to keep on doing it. So I honestly don't think you can be long enough European defence stocks. I think these stores of value and real assets are still going to be absolutely the play. I don't think the hyperscalers are going to care, so you probably want to be in those raw materials that the hyperscalers are going to need, and those critical minerals and locking down those supply chains are going to be the really obvious plays overall, and they will continue to go. They will continue to go well. So yeah, we. Have a look at the software survivors. We have delayed this. We will likely strike towards the end of the week, just letting things settle down overall with the Iran situation. It'll likely be this Thursday. So that has been extended both due to demand and market volatility. So scan the QR code. These guys are at really good prices at the moment. You can watch the webinar or the investment explainer and get the and get the PDF and give us a bell. Because I think that will be the good thing about these things is you're locking this away for 12 months, and this could be a super rocky period over the course of the next month or so. This really you don't have to worry about it until maturity, so it can go down and come all the way back up, and you're not getting stopped out, and you're not going through the stress because you capped it. Your downside's capped at at a percentage of the notional exposure. So, which is you're just putting up what you're risking in the investment. Scan for Mosaic, first month free, and you've all heard the spiel. I'm running a little bit late this morning, so I will leave it there. I would still recommend sort of Lightning being in cash, being in those those high conviction things, and avoiding